No, I send it from inside here.
Who knows?
Anyway, yeah, we're
Honestly.
live. Yeah. So anyway, we're live. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fresh Coffee. I am Chris from MediaFreshPress.com. This is Nathaniel Brennis from OneMoreCupOfCoffee.com. And this week we're going to talk about pretty much whatever comes up. We're going to try to address the Google update. We're going to talk about some of our recent projects, and basically just try to help you guys get your marketing and your websites in order. So, we've had a lot of stuff going on since our last show, but
Yeah, it's been a full month and a busy month.
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna pull the notes up over here too. Um, what have you heard about this new Google update? I really haven't been able to find much about it. I mean, I keep seeing that they're gonna put more emphasis on the mobile thing and all that, but I really haven't found much beyond that.
Which is funny, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it today, because I just looked up Google Mobile Update 2015. The first result is in the news, business to community, Google Mobile Update, 3 ways to prepare for mobile get in 2015. So people love this sort of sensationalist type news, like your site is going to explode and your computer is going to spray acid on your face if your site is not mobile ready by April 2015. And I don't know where the source is, but I think I saw that it said it's going to affect less than 1% of websites.
Oh, is that true? Wow.
I think I saw it in Moz. Don't quote me, but I'm looking here.
Yeah, what gets me is the whole mobile. I mean, I understand that maybe they're going to make it more important, but I mean, they've been saying that everybody should be prepared for mobile now. I keep thinking maybe there's something different. I think probably the biggest difference we're going to see is stuff that we've already seen in the SERPs, like you and I were talking about yesterday or the day before, where it says mobile friendly and stuff like that. I don't see much of a change happening. Everybody should be ready for mobile by now.
Yeah, I can't find where it says it'll be less than 1%.
I believe it though.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I thought it said it somewhere, but I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think people are just hungry for news and they're excited about the next Google update, and marketers are excited to be able to sell stuff to people. So they're like, "Oh my God, you need to mobile optimize your site. Um, Here's my free guide. Check it out. Sign up for my email list." It's just something to talk about. I mean,
Yeah,
like you said, like I think most people are already prepared. The only people who are probably not prepared are the ones who are using like 2, 3 year old free WordPress things, which I was, and I updated. I went through. I had 3 or 4 sites that got mobile warnings, and um, all I did was change the theme, and that was it. And now it's mobile ready.
yeah. I think a lot of people, like you said, they're just looking for something to sell or write. But I wanted to bring that up. Like, if you aren't ready for mobile, like if you are using one of those themes, you should probably take care of that because this is probably going to be your last chance to get it handled before you get dinged for it.
Yeah, and I wonder. Um, I'm sure Google has the capabilities to only penalize sites in mobile search. I'm sure they display different stuff for mobile than they do for computers. So your desktop results may remain exactly the same they are right now, and you may just get dinged in mobile. So even though mobile is a lot of traffic, like I don't know, 30 to 50%,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's not that big of a deal. I know for me, I have much lower sign up rates for my email lists on mobile, just because it's not very convenient. People, Like for me, if I sign up for an email list on the desktop, I can put in my email address, put in my name, click send, and then immediately open up a new tab and go confirm the email. Whereas when I'm on my iPhone, I have to like type everything out, and then it always capitalizes the first letter of the email address, which probably doesn't matter, but it annoys me, so I have to go back and change it. And then autocorrect always wants to put in something different, and then I type something wrong, and then I have to open up the new window thing, and then I have to sign into my email and blah, blah. It's a pain in the butt. So my confirm rate and my sign up rate and my conversion rates are all worse in mobile. So I don't know. I think it might not be that big of a deal if you don't get as much traffic via mobile. When you're talking about the bottom line.
Yeah, I agree with the whole sign-up thing. Actually, I think we've talked about this before, how it's difficult to sign up on mobile and stuff like that. I think that they have little codes that you can put into your site to where when somebody lands on your site, especially mobile users, it pre-populates the form with their information. But that doesn't, it makes it one step easier, but that doesn't solve the problem you were just talking about where they have to open another tab, go through. And for a lot of people, I mean, you'd be surprised, a lot of people, I learned this when I was with my family a couple weeks ago, like a lot of people don't even know their email address. So like even if you pre-populate that form using whatever, cookies are in the browser, when they go to confirm, they like a lot of people don't know. They're like, oh, I don't know what email address I use or what's the password. A lot of people are confused with that. So, and if they're on a mobile device, they're definitely going to give up instantly, probably. So.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, people talk about the market saturated, but when you got people who don't know their email address very well, it's like even people with internet have still got a lot to learn about navigating and buying and being involved in the stuff. So it's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. My cousin is my age. Actually, he's a couple of years younger, and he has no idea how to use email, man. So I think it's funny that there's still a whole section of people out there, and those are the people that are the most difficult to like market to. Your site really has to, because they don't know. They come to your site and they expect something, and if they're on a mobile device, you really have to make it easy for them, or they'll leave. So those are the people that you really should be thinking about when you're setting up your sites and your marketing everywhere. Because when I go to your site, if what I want isn't directly visible, I might know where to look for it. Most people aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway.
The other thing I was thinking, or that I just thought of, is that I tend to forget that other people don't use WordPress. So it may affect more like bigger websites like Walmart.com. If they don't have a mobile-friendly website, they're going to start ranking lower, or whatever their big like corporations or businesses that have business websites built on other platforms that may not be as easily converted to mobile. I could see them having some issues, especially like local businesses where they've had their websites since the 90s, and it's, who knows who designs it or updates it or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point about the WordPress thing. What was I thinking about? My brother, he does programming and stuff, and a lot of what they use, or a lot of what he uses is like, I mean, he always like beats down WordPress, but what he uses is basically a template that creates a WordPress site. They call it Bootstrap or something like that, but it's basically the same thing that Genesis is built on. So a lot of programmers use that kind of stuff, and like he said, it's mobile ready, it's responsive or whatever. So I think like bloggers and people like that are probably ready for things like that. But you're right, like small business owners, corporate websites, people like that, those may be the ones to get hurt. And that kind of sucks because those are the people that really shouldn't be hit so hard, I guess, because they don't know what to do, and those are the people that I think move the economy forward and the marketplace. So, but I guess that's why you're supposed to go sell to them.
um, yeah, I always wonder where the line is. Like, I feel like Google should make this stuff easy for people so that, local businesses who don't know can uh, be involved and can get ranked highly and can be in the search engine results without being like super tech guy or spending a bunch of money on hiring people. Um, but at the same time, like at some point, you kind of have to take personal responsibility for stuff. Like I find myself being like, oh, like I don't understand what this means. This is so frustrating. Why does having a website have to be so complicated? And I think, well, I don't have to have a website. Like that's part of the game. Like if you want to be competitive, you gotta grow, you gotta learn. So I think it is going to be frustrating for some local people who aren't really sure what that means. To have a mobile-ready website or to have an app or something like that. But at some point, that's like the opportunity for the new competition to come up. The guy's been around since the 90s and he hasn't moved and he's still ranking #1 in the search engines. Where you got some new guy coming up just last year. He's a little bit tech savvy. Maybe needs a little bit of help to muscle his way into the marketplace a bit. Like that's his opportunity is to get this mobile website set up or internet optimized, search engine optimized website, whatever you want to call it.
Another point while you were saying that is like I think a lot of business owners that are competitive or that because there's some businesses like in the small towns and stuff like that, they just have no competition, and in reality they have no need to be found on or to be optimized really because they're the only game in town. So I mean that's a small percentage of people, but it does, or a small percentage of businesses, but that does happen. But I think businesses that are in bigger cities or that have competition, those guys should be looking for ways, how can I be competitive online? What do I need to do? So as long as they're doing that, they're most likely going to have the knowledge they need to figure out that, oh, okay, now I have to get mobile optimized. So I guess you're right. Personal responsibility really is everything.
A story from last week. I thought so I bought this freezer and I converted it into a fermentation chamber for my beer, but it's supposed to be at 68, and a freezer's supposed to be at 0 or whatever, cold. So I've got it hooked up with this kind of temperature gauge where I put a heater in the freezer. And so it maintains at that 68. If it goes above, it turns on the freezer. If it goes below, it turns on the heater. And it wasn't working properly, and so I called out a guy to check it out, and he didn't even want to look at it. He's like, "You got an outside controller, voids the warranty." Didn't even get like 10 feet from the freezer. I was like, "Can you at least just look to see like if the compressor is broken or if there's any other telltale signs so I know how to fix it?" He's like, "Nope, not my problem." And I went on, this was what the guy the company hired, so I went on Yelp, and this guy got terrible reviews. Like normally for local businesses, people are pretty like, I had a bad experience, but I want to support local, blah, 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 whatever. People just ripped him apart, and they're like, this guy is not interested in good customer service. He just doesn't care. He just wants to get the job done, slam it out, and leave. And I was surprised that he's still in business. Like, obviously, people are either not reading the Yelp reviews before they get him, or they don't know, or they only read them after they have a bad experience. The company that hired him obviously didn't read the Yelp reviews, so there's still a lot of progress to be made with the accessibility and how much these sites are actually. A lot of people are still just doing word of mouth stuff. Like, you could have a local business without a website right now. It's not the way it's moving, but you can still do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not going to be long before because everybody has a device now. More and more people are learning how to use it for stuff like that. I still think we got a long way to go, but yeah, you're right. Eventually, people like that they're just gonna be phased out because old ladies are gonna start using their phones for, just like you said, fixing your freezer or something. They're gonna see stuff like that, and it's gonna be the end of those guys. So, but yeah, I still think we're stuck in the old days a little bit on that kind of stuff.
When we're 70, we're going to be like, where's my smartphone? I want to check Yelp before I hire. The next generation is going to be like wearing virtual reality goggles, and they're like, I can see inside this guy's office what he's doing right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting.
What's this note here you have about stubborn clients?
Oh man, I forgot what I was going to write there. Oh yeah, so this kind of doesn't really go to being ready for mobile, but it just kind of goes because a lot of the metrics that Google uses to decide if your site is mobile friendly is stuff like if the user can go, if there's things too close together, like if they're trying to click something and they're constantly clicking something else, like if you have buttons too close to links or things like that. That just because your site shrinks down to a mobile size doesn't mean it's mobile friendly everywhere. And apparently this update is going to go page by page, so it's not just going to say, okay, this site's mobile friendly. It's going to go, okay, every page here is mobile friendly except for this one. So so it's hard to explain that stuff to clients because a lot of clients look at their websites on a desktop and they don't understand that here at the bottom you have this jumbled up mess of stuff. You have your call to action, you have your product you're selling, you have a sign up for your newsletter thing here, and the three buttons are like damn near on top of each other. So sometimes clients get stubborn, and it's hard to explain that to them. And I guess it just kind of goes back to that personal responsibility thing, because all you can do is tell them about it. It's up to them to figure it out, and because you can't make them do anything. And I've had that problem recently with one of my clients. I've told them for the last 30 days, okay, we've got to fix some of this stuff because it's not going to be good if you leave it that way. And I think it's part of the problem he's having now. But it's that, I guess it's that small business mindset, like it's fine for now. I'm getting what I want, and do you know what I mean? Like they're not concerned about going further. They're happy where they are.
That was actually going to be my question, is like, does he not believe you, or is he just not concerned about it?
I just think he's not concerned. No, he believes me, I think. He can't see the problem because he's on desktop. Even though I've snapped pictures and sent it to him, I don't think he understands, even though I've told him, I don't think he understands how important it is, and I don't think he understands how far mobile is really going. I don't think it's quite clicked in his brain that there's a large portion of people visiting his blog on a mobile device. Even though I show him the analytics, every month at least.
Well, I mean, I guess he'll find out eventually. Maybe it won't be a big deal. Maybe it won't change, and he'll be right. 5 years later, he'll be like, Chris, remember when you wanted me to update for that mobile thing? Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, that's probably going to be what happens too.
And then what's this thing about SEO Ninja?
All right, so let me SEO Ninja. I believe it's SEO. Let me click on that. Yeah, so it's SEO.ninja. This is the big thing I wanted to talk about today. This is basically automated SEO. Matt Cutts endorsed this thing. What's it say here at the top? You write the words and auto SEO does the rest. So this is a. Are you looking at the article yet?
I'm looking at it.
Okay. So yeah, this is the auto SEO thing. I think everybody should check it out. Sign up. There's even a sign up for the newsletter down there. So yeah, this just takes care of all your SEO. Matt Cutts said it works. I think it might even be his website. I'm not sure, But anyway, we didn't have a show yesterday.
Yeah, I figured something was
Yeah. So we didn't have a show yesterday, so that's kind of my April Fool's thing. If I would have been smart, I wouldn't have linked to it in the show notes, and Nathaniel wouldn't have been able to click over and see the article where it was talking about it being an April Fool's thing. But
Oh, I don't actually see that it's an April Fool's joke here.
oh yeah, you know how Google always does April Fool's stuff. This is one that Matt Cutts did, I guess.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, what's it?
Yeah, it was like SEO Ninja. Matt Cutts endorses it. I thought it was a plugin or something. I thought that's weird. I've never seen Matt Cutts endorse a plugin before. And I was like, you write the words, auto SEO does the rest.
Yeah.
And then I started to become suspicious. Does it pull up? I just signed up and it was blank. On April Fool's, did it pull up like an April Fool's joke thing?
I don't know. I found it earlier today, but I have a feeling that there is going to be some type of funny email sent out. But yeah, I guess Matt Cutts. I don't know if Matt Cutts put this site up or what, but that article was talking about how Matt Cutts went out and said, you know, just do auto SEO. You don't have to do anything.
Kyle had a funny post in the community. It was similar to this. It was like WA upsell for $199 a month. They're going to have these a team of monkeys create content for you. So like, yeah, we hired some monkeys, and here's an example of the awesome SEO optimized content they can create. And it was like the WordPress Latin stuff, that lorem ipsum whatever.
Yeah, that's funny.
I guess that's the joke of the year.
Yeah.
Which is not funny because people are still selling this crap. Every single time I download a product, it's that type of stuff. And it's almost like they're not even trying anymore. Yesterday I downloaded a product. I could not believe it. It was called Jumbo Traffic Bonanza. Yeah. So, idiotic name. It had like 3 people working on it. So 3 people working on the product. And then it was endorsed by 3 to 5 other Warrior members. And I opened the product, and I was shocked to see it was only like 20 pages long, and it was size 29 font. So it was like writing your entire guide in an H2 tag. And on my blog, I showed a screenshot of one page, and it was literally 5 sentences long. It was one page.
Wow.
So it was like, what are these people thinking? I mean, obviously they made my $5. I tested it. But I saw that and I thought, these guys, they're just not even trying to pretend anymore. It's just this like outlandish sales page and completely crap product. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that whole area, that whole product creation, area, I think that has gone to a seriously, quantity over quality thing. I think them guys are just pushing out products purely as a number thing. They're trying to. There's somewhere in there they know that if I get to 20 products, no matter what quality they are, I'll be making this much money. Because I see it more and more, man. Even these new product creators are like, they're just pushing out total crap and then doing it one after the other, and it makes me think that there's a number they're trying to get to, or maybe there's not a specific number, but it's just they know if they keep creating them, doesn't matter what, they're going to get paid at least a little bit of money for them.
I think another thing they count on is getting paid for endorsements. So if they can create enough products to develop a name for themselves where people recognize them, then I'm sure they get paid to put their face on other products. Or, there's like an exchange that goes on where it's like, you promote mine, I'll promote yours. And the more lists they have access to, every time, if they help 10 other people promote their products, that means they essentially have 10 lists that they can access for free. So at their next product launch, they can email blast 10 different lists instead of just their own.
Makes me sick, man.
Now, obviously what they're creating most of what they're creating is crap. I don't want to criticize them too hard because my own success with blogging has been volume based, and that's pretty much what I preach is like blog every day. Someone who blogs every day is going to see more success than someone who blogs once a week. Every single example I've seen, unless you start getting into like backlinking and you do other SEO efforts like you do social media stuff and you promote and you do guest blogging and whatnot. But if you're just doing it on your own, blogging a lot is going to get results. So I kind of see where they're coming from.
Was that the advice?
Was that
the advice I gave?
On the product?
Yeah, is that what they said in the product? Just blog every day?
No, that's my advice.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, that's what I've personally seen success with, is more volume of content gets more results. Obviously keeping quality in mind, which I think is the mistake these guys are making. So I kind of see what they're doing by creating a lot of products. If they did okay products, like I wouldn't have a problem with the guy who was like, all right, I'm going to create a Facebook product, I'm going to create an SEO product, I'm going to create a content creation product, I'm going to create a WordPress tutorial product. If he did one of those every single week for the entire year and had 300 products and it was good stuff, good but short and appropriately priced, that's fine. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But every single product is like, super traffic loophole, blast millions of visitors, targeted visitors to your site today and completely change your life. Here's a story about rags to riches, a 16-year-old kid with one eyeball who had no SEO experience, and he read my guide and instantly became multimillionaire. Like that type of promotion. Like if they would just be a little bit more legit, be like, this is a freaking Facebook marketing guide. It costs $10. And it's 60 pages long. It includes screenshots and videos. Like, that's it. Unfortunately, that stuff doesn't sell, which is why they have to hype it up. Anyway, I don't want to go on a rant here. I just wanted to put a disclaimer. Like, I'm like, these stupid guys, they're creating too many products, and here I am publishing 2 or 3 times a day to my own blog. So.
Well, I think the difference is, number one, I think any blogger, any real blogger, tries to strive for quality. Yeah, I think quantity is important, but it's a consistency thing more than it's a quantity thing. You know what I mean? You're just trying to be consistent. The quality we always try to strive for, and you don't charge for blog posts.
True.
So I don't know. That's just my difference with it. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I just try to keep an open mind. As critical as I am, I try to see things from both sides of the coin. I know some people wouldn't agree that I actually like that, which is funny. Like, you just can't please anyone. Another thing that happened to me this week is I wrote this review. I always knock MLMs badly. Like, I'm extremely critical. I don't give them any elbow room. And there's like 2 or 3 MLM products on my site where I'm like, okay, this one isn't bad. Like, I could see someone joining this. And it just so happened that one of them had a guy that wrote like a long post about how he hid this MLM and it was part of this conspiracy of different people involved in the company and involved in other companies, and it was this really long post. So I linked to it and I said, this guy has some really good information on this page, but it's a little bit conspiracy theory-ish because it gets into like the history of MLM and like 1940s like secret groups and stuff like that. It's a little bit like conspiracy theory. He gets on their website. So the backstory is someone who was pro, I gave it like a middle of the road rating, like don't join the MLM company, but the products look okay. Someone got on his website and told him I was talking trash about him, and they were pro MLM. So he comes to my website and is like, testing me as if I'm promoting this company. And he wrote like 1,000, 2,000 words worth of comments over the course of the next week about how I was in too deep, I didn't know what I was talking about, and blah, 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 and I need to change the way this is, and MLMs ruin lives. Like, dude, have you read any of my other blog? Like, I don't like MLM companies. I don't know what you're ranting about. Anyway, can't please everyone. That's opposed to when I trash these MLM companies, people get on there like, you don't know what you're talking about. All you do is trash these companies. Why don't you just, you haven't even tried it, give them a chance, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. That's funny, though. Nobody ever reads the whole picture.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on from all that jazz. Oh, yeah, let me show you this real quick. One more thing about the update really quickly. Where does it go? So, this is actually the knowledge graph thing. So, can you see that?
No.
Awesome. Why not? How's that?
Oh, there we go.
So, when you search your name, or anybody's name, now real regular people get a little thing over here from the knowledge graph, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I need to change that address there.
Yeah, I noticed I had some stuff I had to change on mine too. But yeah, so now all those guys that come to your blog can just search you out online and email you directly with all their complaints.
Yeah, which is, I'm glad that that's there, because then they can click to my profile and they can see that I'm active and see what I'm doing online, and that kind of makes it my official profile.
Yeah.
Because you never know what kind of results are going to turn up for your name.
Yeah, that's true too. What else you want to talk about? You want to get into some of the projects we've been working on?
Oh yeah, man. I know I already had a rant, but yeah, I've been working on a lot of different stuff lately, and so,
just for the record, you can continue ranting on MLMs. I love it. I hate MLMs. We can do that. I just know me and you we'll like go down that rabbit hole of MLM hating, man.
Yeah, I just didn't want to turn into our webinars into MLM. MLM trashing webinars, trying to make it informative. Yeah. Okay. So the projects that I've been working on. There's this guy at the door who's like waiting for me.
Go answer it. I'll show him what I've been doing.
No, I'm busy. He needs to learn to take a hint. Anyway, so projects that I've been working on have been not related to writing reviews, which is great. It's a good mix-up for me, getting new content on the site, trying to expand beyond the review or scam review stuff. And I think it's had some positive results so far. Not exactly 100% measurable, but I feel like it's doing pretty good. I've been doing affiliate niche research, so I've created a new tab on my site, which is nice. I can have kind of like this tab where people can go through and see posts that I've created on keyword research and affiliate program research and how I would tackle different niches. Then I've been doing my own live webinars, so more tutorial-based, a couple hot seats where I did some reviews of some websites, and then I did a thing on content the other week. I've got a live events tab, and I've been doing these and trying to figure that out. I figured out PowerPoint doesn't work with Google Hangouts, so I'm gonna try Google Slides next time. See if that works. I've gotten some really positive responses from my email lists about the live events, so that's kind of cool. I could see myself doing something similar for maybe the homebrew website, where I do like a brew day or a tutorial or like showcase equipment or something like that. I think live events could work for a lot of people, and I know the max you can do for a Google Hangout is like 8 hours, so that could be a full brew day for me.
tell them what day and time your live events are, because those live events are pretty great, man. Lots of good information.
Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so GMT -7.
So like right after Saturday morning cartoons.
Right, gotta get my cartoons in.
That's true.
It was like, I think I picked that time because it's evening in the UK and morning in the US, so
That's a
I
good
call
time.
them a Saturday morning brews.
Cool, man.
They're pretty fun. It's something like I can talk about stuff where I have experience with, so it didn't take a whole lot of prep, but it allows me to kind of expand upon topics that I've already talked about and give examples. And there's not a whole lot of people showing up for them. The most popular ones are the hot seats, definitely. And it's nice to be able to answer the questions live. Sometimes it's kind of weird going between the back-end view and talking to people and managing stuff like that. But I'm learning, and it may be something that I eventually charge for. Like Citrix webinar software, I think is like $100 a month or $50 a month or something. So it's not something that I want to invest money into right now, but it's the beginning of something. We're going to see how it goes. And it allows me to have fresh content delivered to my list. So it's not just like, oh, this is an email sequence, email 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, this is happening now, this is happening this week, attend live, or, there goes your opportunity.
So are you sending out broadcasts like a week ahead of time to your list, or how are you doing that?
Yeah. Send it out on a Monday, record it on a Saturday, and then send out the recording on Saturday or Sunday.
Are you posting that recording on the website, or just letting YouTube handle it?
On the website.
That's pretty cool.
So I have a live events tab, and it shows what date and time the next one is coming up, and then it shows videos of the old ones.
Really? I haven't seen this tab. When did you add that?
A couple weeks ago.
Really? Wow. That makes me feel terrible. I see it now. It's kind of up there, kind of hidden a little bit. I never noticed that, man.
Yeah, a few tweaks to my website recently. So, unfortunately, that means now I have like more work to keep up with. So I used to do the affiliate stuff, affiliate research every week, but that takes so long. I think I'm going to start doing it every 2 weeks. So live event every 2 weeks, affiliate research every 2 weeks. That'll keep me pretty busy.
How are you finding it running these two sites, man? You think it's doable running two sites that way?
You mean the beer site and One More Cup of Coffee?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the beer site, because you kind of have a hobby site and you kind of have your, business-minded website. Is that difficult?
It is difficult. If I was more in maintenance mode for One More Cup of Coffee, I could probably do it. I mean, okay, let's say it takes me half a day to 2 hours, 3 hours to write a review post, and then I work on a week-long post like an affiliate post or a live event prep for a couple hours in a day. That means I still have a half a day to work on beer stuff, and I could basically repeat the same process. But because I'm really trying to grow, I'm posting 2 times a day to One More Cup of Coffee, plus the affiliate stuff, plus paid ads, plus tweaking conversion funnels, plus messing with the email funnel. So much stuff. There's always little things going on, like I had to update mobile stuff for old sites, and I've been working with this Thrive content editor. There's just always like little bits and pieces there, and then fitting out in other life stuff in the day. I gotta go shopping sometimes, or go to the gym. Okay, I try to have a life outside of the computer world.
Yeah, it gets in the way.
It does. It gets difficult. But if I was in maintenance mode, I could probably do both. But that's it. It's a lot of stuff.
So yeah, this Thrive thing, that's something I've been wanting to. I can't remember who mentioned that. I think it was Dom or somebody mentioned that in the community, right?
He did.
So that's something you've been playing with for a little while here lately, right?
Yeah, so normally I'm not so hot on editor plugins because I had a bad experience. I was assaulted by a plugin. Um, Now, when I first got started, I built like 10 websites, and I used the same editor. I forget what it was, CK editor or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and I built it. I used it on all 10 websites, and I created like a bunch of posts on each. And then they stopped updating it, or it conflicted. It was conflicting with my backup plugin or something, so I had to uninstall it. And when I uninstalled it, it basically made it impossible for me to go back and edit the old posts without completely redoing them. It like squished the WordPress editor and it messed up a bunch of stuff. Live, the sites looked okay, but in the back end they were jacked up. And after that, I was like, no more editors for me.
Hmm.
But this one seems like a really legit company who's going to keep updating. I mean, they've obviously invested thousands, if not millions, of dollars into developing this. It's like a cool um, visual editor. They've got a theme thing. They've got a landing page creator. They've got a custom editor thing, and it's all modular. So you can put in a text module. If you've ever used like the Aweber editor, how you like drag and drop the modules, um, and then you open up the module, and you see it's a front end editor, so you can see what it's going to look like when it's done. Drag a text module, type some text in there, drag a button module, and then you can edit everything on the fly. So, they have buttons, but then you can make the buttons bigger or smaller. You can change the logo of the button. You can change the text and the color and size and all that stuff. Um, you can set up things like side by side and do some cool like formatting and stuff. I haven't used it a bunch yet, but so far it's pretty cool. And I think it's pretty popular. I've seen a lot of people promoting it, so I think it's around to stay.
Yeah, whenever I seen Dom link to it in the community, I went to check it out. I thought it was pretty cool. But for one, I can't use it anyway because I'm on Rainmaker. But another reason that I probably wouldn't have anyway is that I've had similar experiences with editor plugins, and it just messed everything up. But that one did look pretty cool because actually it addressed at least the sales page, showing the stuff that it did. It addressed some of the problems that I had, which was I think their biggest thing was showing you how it actually looks on the front end because that's a problem with just about every editor. You put something in there, you make it how you want it, and then when you hit publish, it's totally different. So that's kind of their big thing, right, with Thrive.
Yeah, and it's hard for people, especially beginners, to do. Like you can, if you understand how the code works and you go to the text editor, you can code all that stuff in there. But without the knowledge of coding, you're basically how I've been doing my site is like you work within your limitations. I didn't know how to create columns, so I just didn't create columns. I didn't know how to create a table, so I had to install a table plugin, or I just didn't use a table. I didn't know how to make a button, so I just created an image that looks like a button.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was doing too, using images for buttons and stuff like that. I really want to learn CSS so I can handle some of that stuff, man. Because you're right, you have to work within your limitations, and it sucks sometimes because you just want to create this really cool stuff. And I know it's not hard, it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. I really want to learn it, though. Some basic CSS stuff so I can change little things, change colors, stuff like that.
Lynda.com has some pretty good courses.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I'll check that out.
I actually took some 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I was like, all right, I'm going to learn CSS this year. And I didn't follow through with it, but I did take some of the beginning courses. And it's cool because you can download the files and follow along with the presenter. And so he's like, all right, well, this is what this code means. This is what this code means. And look, if you change this, this is going to change this on your page. So, yeah, I was sold on Lynda and surprised that, I mean, CSS is just like any other language. Like you start with the basics and you can say, hi, how are you? Can I have a beer? and then you kind of work up from there.
Right. Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. I forgot that they had all that stuff there. For some reason, I was thinking it was just for photography or something like that.
It's pretty pricey. I mean, for what you get, because you get access to all the courses, it's cheap. But for what most people use it for, unless you're on there every single day actually learning, I think a lot of people are like me, where I signed up for a year, I took about 2 months of courses, and then I never touched it, and
Right.
so it ended up being more expensive than I expected it to be, time
Yeah.
versus value wise.
Yeah. Hmm. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that's definitely gonna be an upcoming project for me. The whole I gotta learn CSS and stuff like that. But right now, I've been digging in with just Scrivener is a thing that I've really been digging in with. Because we talked about, you and I talked, I think last week or whatever, about how I use Evernote, Google Drive, and all these different things to try to manage the stuff I'm writing for myself and for clients. And I mean, not to mention I have client projects that I don't do any writing for, so I was trying to figure all this stuff out, and I finally figured it out. But so what I found was Scrivener, which Scrivener basically solves all of my problems, but it's such a it's such look at us. It's not in the cloud, so I'm used to writing everything and doing everything in the cloud, and that's not an option that Scrivener gives you. So I'm going to show you this real quick here. This is kind of a workaround I came up with, and I know it's something that um, a lot of people are trying to figure out too. Because so when you got Scrivener for Mac kind of backs up the Dropbox and all that stuff. But Scrivener for Windows doesn't do that. You kind of have to figure your own thing out. Um, so basically,
Yeah, this was gonna say because I
Scrivener.
have, sorry, I have Scrivener for Mac. I think it's with iCloud. I think you can access it through the cloud, but that's specific to Mac.
Mhm. Yeah, so Scrivener, I mean, this has been the project I've been working on for the last week, just trying to learn all this stuff. So it's got all of these great things, but what I didn't realize is that, actually, let me do this. What I didn't realize was that you can actually, because I use Google Drive. They tell you to use Dropbox, so I use Google Drive, right? I just have it, on my desktop there. It's located down here too, just like a Dropbox folder would be. So what I did is created all my backups, because you have a way to back up here. You can, I forget where it is. So you can tell it to back up wherever you want. So I was just basically backing up everything in zip files to Google Drive, but it's not real great. It's not really what I wanted to do. You can still go in here, but you have to have a Google Drive plugin and everything. So basically, what I did was I just moved the whole Scrivener folder right into my Google Drive folder, and what that does uh, is does this. So now here's all my Scrivener folders, just like they would be on your desktop, but they're in Drive. Now you can't work on them in Drive, but you can view them, and you can share this with whoever. So I don't know how collaborative Scrivener is on its own across platforms like Windows and Mac, but this is a way to share it here. So you can just open these, you can view these right here, you can copy this and paste it. You can't edit it in Google Drive unless you make a copy of it. Uh, but anyway, so that basically took me quite a while to figure out, because what I wanted to do is be able to make edits in Google Drive and make them show up in my Scrivener here, but I could never do that. I think you can on a Mac, but not there. So I know I was moving kind of fast, but uh, I'm
No, that's
hoping.
interesting. You're so close. Like you got Scrivener in Drive, you can view it in Drive. You just can't. You just can't edit it, and you can
Can't.
copy and edit it, but the edits don't show up on your local copy, right?
No, they won't. They won't change in the actual folder in real time. I have to change them manually. So, but it works.
I wonder if someone who, let's say I have a Windows computer and Google Drive, and you share the folder with me through Drive, if I could copy that document from Drive to my version of Scrivener and edit it there, or work on it there.
You know what? I think I have heard somebody say that before because if you notice when I was in there, it says all the files were in .rtf, which is rich text format. So I think that's all that matters. So yeah, maybe I could just share that with you, and you can open it up in your Scrivener because you're on a Mac and I'm on a Windows. So yeah, I think that might work.
Because if it's RTF, I mean, that's the same stuff that Mac uses, so I don't see why it wouldn't be able to do that. Now, when you make changes in the local version, does it change what's in Drive?
Yeah, because I have it set up. This is really interesting, man. That's why it's something that it really got me really going. But I have it set up here in my options. Now on a Mac it's going to be different. I think you have options over here, but here I have my options set up. For one, I have it set up to backup to zip, which those are just, those are the zip files that I showed you at first. It keeps the 3 most recent backups. But then here, or wait, where is it at? Man, where does... I cannot remember where that was, but basically I have it set up to save every 3 seconds. So if I stop working for 3 seconds, it automatically syncs with Google Drive, and that changes it in the folder. I forgot I wasn't sharing my screen, but
we were with you mentally.
yeah. But yeah, you can set it up to where you can back up your files, which creates a .zip file, a zipped up file if that's what you want, or you can have it unzipped. I zip mine up because it seems to save a little bit of storage. But then you can also have it sync with Google Drive however often you want it to, which mine is set to 3 seconds. So, and that changes it. It overwrites whatever was there before and kind of changes it. It kind of puts a strain on the internet, I think, but I have good internet right now, or a lot of internet, I guess, a lot of bandwidth. So
are you hoarding all the internet?
I'm trying my damnedest to. But I notice
we need more internet.
I notice if when I'm writing in here and it's syncing, if my son's in there watching like Netflix and on his phone, and of course we have like 20 things in here hooked up to the internet, So when it's doing that, I can see on my phone where it lags a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, we have a lot of stuff connected too, so.
Because I would think so it's like you have the center point here. Your Scrivener syncs to Google Drive. So if someone on the other side also had their Scrivener installed on Google Drive and had access to, I don't know how the access to the folder would work, but I would think if they could access that file and they made changes on it. You know how like when we pass a document back and forth to each other, we both have access to the same document and we can both make changes to it. I wonder if you could give access to a second person and you could make changes to the document and they could make changes to the document.
I think you can, but the one thing is you would probably have to put your Scrivener in a Google Drive folder just like I did, which, I mean, you just drag it in there. It's just like a regular folder. But I think because I don't understand why Scrivener isn't, why it's not ready for the cloud. It should be able to do that. It should work in the cloud. It's like, I don't get it. But I've heard of people doing that, collaborating on files like that, but I don't think you can both be in it at the same time, which it's not a huge deal, but I think like if you're writing something and then you want to pass it on to your editor that way, I think it's okay, but I don't think you can open the file when they have it open. or at least while it's not while it's syncing, because then it's going to do something crazy.
Hmm.
Because it'll be syncing two or possibly three different versions of that same text. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, yeah, I'm using it too, so I'm gonna experiment with it. I'm doing a bit of writing of my own little project, and it's gonna take a while, but I'm sure by the end of it I'll be more familiar with Scrivener and have some more comments on it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Scrivener. I had to stop myself, man. I just wanted to figure out how to get it to sync, but like, there's whole websites that are just created around teaching Scrivener. There's like 10 books out there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff the program can do. Like, it's amazing, really, all the different things that it can do. But it's one of those things I noticed myself trying to learn all these things. Like, I wanted to be a master of Scrivener within the first day, and I tend to do that. But so I had to stop myself. I figured out how to get it doing what I wanted to do, and that was it. Because I wanted to write on my Chromebook. That was the thing.
Yeah, I haven't even started the YouTube videos yet. I know there's like 20 or 30 videos.
There's more for Mac too, so you're lucky.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, last announcement of a recent project. I know we're coming up on time here. I actually sold my homebrew domain, my beer domain. It was so weird. Normally you get like solicitations in email and you can tell they're kind of junk. And this one guy emailed me and he was like, "Yeah, I have an idea for a beer website. Would you be willing to sell your domain?" And I just told him straight up, like, it's too much of a pain in the butt. Like, I gotta, because I'm selling the domain, like, I'm giving up links that I have to my site. I had a couple comment links from beer sites. I won't be able to keep the redirect, so I won't keep any of that, any kind of SEO stuff that I have on the site already. I basically have to start over with a brand new domain. And then I didn't tell him, I actually didn't know what the implications of that for my site were. Like, was the old content going to be de-indexed and the new stuff considered duplicate content? Am I shooting myself in the foot here? And I basically didn't know how to deal with it and didn't want to spend the time to figure it out. So I told him, no, not really. And he kept pushing, and I said, all right, well, fine. I'll do it for $500. That if I can figure this out in a weekend, I'll make $500 on a weekend, it'll be worth it. Like, I'm not attached to the domain. I thought that was going to be enough to scare him off, but he went for it. So he apparently really wanted the domain, so I said, all right. And I tried to do some redirects, and I tried to move stuff around. I tried to get it so that basically I moved the site first, let it re-index, and then gave him the domain. But I screwed stuff up along the way and mismanaged everything. So I basically, luckily I had backups of everything. I deleted the whole site. I de-indexed it from Google. There's actually a setting, and this will work if anyone has this problem. You can completely de-index a site from Google through Webmaster Tools. It just says remove every instance of this domain from the search engine. So that's what I did. And within 2 hours it was gone. The whole site was gone. So then I bought a completely new domain, uploaded my WP content folder through FTP, and got my XML backup. Took me like 2 hours to get everything back in order. Then my genius moment. So that was perfect, but because I used the XML backup from brew7.com, all of my internal links were still to brew7.com. So luckily, about 3 years ago, I tried to figure out how to, because you know how you can edit your site locally on you download this XAMPP or WAMP. Have you ever heard of those?
Yeah.
It's like a local WordPress editor. So instead of editing your site on the internet, you're editing it on your computer. So what people will do is they'll download a copy of their site, edit it on the computer, and then upload it to the internet. So there's no downtime when they make changes. Luckily, during that time, I had figured out how to, or learned how to edit your, I don't know if it's, edit the SQL file, or I don't know if that's MySQL database or I don't know what it's called. Anyway, .SQL file. It's got a list of all your content. And so what I did is I got into, I know this is getting kind of technical, and I'm not real familiar with exactly everything, so it may sound like gibberish, but so I got into PHP My Admin through cPanel. It's just amazing to say that, but got into cPanel, got into PHP My Admin, downloaded my file. I went through my text editor, Text Wrangler, which is a pretty good one. I hit Control Find, found brew7.com, replaced every instance of brew7.com with a new domain name, and it changed all the internal links in 2 seconds. So then I dumped the old database, uploaded the new database, and all the internal links were perfect. It took me like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't even think about doing it. That's pretty cool, man. I love messing with stuff server side like that. It makes me feel really smart.
It does. I'm so surprised that I figured it out. That was like the most amazing technical thing I've ever done, and it worked seamlessly. And the most interesting part, if anyone's watching and is still paying attention, the most interesting part is that Brew7 was de-indexed, removed from the search engines. This new domain, xbrewx.com, which sounds like a stupid domain name, but it looks cool stylized. It's small x, capital brew, small x. Got re-indexed within a day, and it only indexed that's why I asked about the tags in the community. It only indexed the tags. And so then I went through with the Google Fetch As, and I just did Fetch As for every single page on the site. And now the pages are indexed, and they're ranked pretty much at the same place they were before. Maybe a little bit lower, some a little bit lower, some a little bit higher. But all the pages are reindexed, ranked, whatever, no problem. And I can post to the new site, and Brew7 is doing its own thing now.
That's pretty cool. There's actually a lot of cool stuff there. What I think is really neat, though, is that you managed to sell that domain without trying. I mean, you didn't have to use any third-party service or anything like that, like Flippa.com or any of that stuff. Sounds like you got a pretty good deal for it. So I think the whole thing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, minus PayPal fees and the domain cost, it made like $450, and minus my time. It took me a while because I was stupid about it, but it's about a week and a few bits and pieces here and there. So I mean, it was worth it.
Yeah.
If not, just for the experience.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Everything you just learned at the end of it there is probably worth it, because I'll probably have to pick your brain about that a little bit later on. I got some content that I might be moving. So.
Alrighty. I'll do my best to explain it without sounding. Like, it's one thing to do it; it's another thing to explain it to someone where you're like, yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to get out of here because my son is getting out of school right now.
All right.
Getting off the bus right now. But yeah, hope everybody enjoyed that and learned something new. I know I did, and we will see you on the next episode.
Later.
See you.